Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, kinksters of all ages, who damn well better be over 18, to the Underground Sex Show, with your hosts, Synn and Elwood, coming to you live from Toronto, Ontario. We cover everything from getting into kink to relationship dynamics, rope bondage, toys, styles of play, and much, much more. So join us as we ask the questions most won't dare to touch on topics too hot for mainstream. So start a new adventure with us on the Underground Sex Show. Sponsored by Subspace Fetish Night.
All right, this is our disclaimer. Welcome to the Underground Sex Show. This show is about kink and sex. Therefore, there are some rules you got to follow. 1, you got to be 18. 2, you can't be a prude. And 3, you can't take Elwood entirely seriously. Here at the Underground Sex Show, we like to joke around, we like to be sarcastic, and it's all in the name of having a good time. So if you tend to be a literal person, you probably should stop listening. Everyone else, though, can stick around because it's definitely going to be wild.
Welcome, Kinksters! We're broadcasting live from Toronto, Canada. I'm your host, Elwood, and with me always is Synn. Hey, Synn, how's it going?
Hey, baby. I am all right. Having a good week. Yeah.
That's it. I got my coffee. Doing? I'm good. I got my coffee. That's about it. That's all I got. I didn't really line up any hotties for tonight, but yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I got my water and my mints, so I'm good. I'm good to go. We should probably tell everybody that we're not really live today. We're pre-recording because Elwood has a fancy shindig to go to tomorrow.
You know, tomorrow is the 6th anniversary of the GTA Rope Social, and I got to admit, Storm and Bliss have been doing this for 6 years, and they have created the most warm and welcoming rope event that I've ever been to. It's one of these things where if you don't know anything, you can show up. You're not pressured to get naked because everybody keeps their clothing on. There's no play. It's literally you come in, you mingle with people. Everyone says hi. Everyone has a chitty chat. We go over the class, and each month is a different class each time, and then it kind of breaks off into practice that tie or just get to know people. And
that sounds nice.
Yeah, like 6 years ago, it was just in a couple of people's basements, and, it wasn't that safe. So now they've graduated. They started their own thing so that they could get away from that kind of thing, and now they're in an apartment's basement. So, but yeah, no, Storm and Bliss, they work hard. I think Bliss deals with like 400 emails a month just to organize this. Everyone has to be vetted, so nobody's allowed in unless they have somebody to vouch for you. And if you don't know anybody in the scene, Storm and Bliss are actually willing to come out and meet with you at a munch or coffee or things like that just to get to know you, to make sure that you're not going to be a hazard for other kinksters, Well,
that sounds like fun. So tomorrow night's the anniversary party sort of thing?
Yeah, tomorrow night's the anniversary party, so I'd like to get them something. I don't know what to get, get them. They have plenty of rope, so it can't just be like, here's some rope, But, yeah.
Gift certificates.
Get them what?
A gift certificate. They always work, just a thank you. Hey, thanks for doing this. Here's, $25 to Starbucks or whatever.
Ah, Starbucks, boo. Let's get it to like
whatever.
Victoria's Secret or what else is good? Oh, like my friend who runs like a bondage store company. Maybe that would be good.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Something like that.
All right. Sounds good. So, Synn, how was your week?
It was pretty kinky, actually, which I know sounds surprising. Personally kinky. So
oh, you have
the way
stories this time? What's going on?
I know, right? I know. Look, I was out and about. I came out of my hole, and I actually had some great times this weekend. So I went to the Spanking Munch, which was a really amazing munch. God, you know what's so fabulous for people that don't know what munches are? So basically, they're events. They're events that are in public places, so usually a bar or a restaurant, where everybody gets together and kind of meets each other and socializes. And I really enjoy that about the kink community because it's probably one of the few communities that still hold these types of social gatherings. And so I went to a new one, a Spanking Munch. It's what it's called, but, you know, there's no spanking going on, obviously. It's at bar.
No,
and I met... Yeah, you know. Well, we were there together. So, we weren't there together. I was there, and then you showed up. But it was a really amazing munch. So that was the beginning of my kinky week. And it was a really amazing munch, great food, great people, just wonderful. I have to say that about Toronto. The munches, every munch that I go to has always been very warm and welcoming, you know. I mean, people are just awesome. They're having a great time. And, everybody goes home and then starts reconnecting on FetLife, and it's really great because that's how the community grows.
Absolutely.
So I did that. Yeah, it was a good munch, eh? I like that munch.
Yeah. I could only hang out for about an hour or so, and then I had some homework to do. But, it was good.
Wait a minute. You did not have homework to do. Don't lie to the people.
That's what I call it.
Why you only stayed for 25 minutes.
An hour. No, I was there for about an hour, and then, I had to take little girl home and, have Daddy get to know her. That's all. I think we did a photo shoot at one point. I think I snapped at least 2 photos. So that's a photo shoot, right?
I think so. 2 or more.
Yeah, 2 or more. That's all you need,
That's all you need.
Yeah, as long as you're holding an expensive camera, that's all that counts, right?
Exactly. And I actually met this lovely little girl who I gave a nice coloring book to, and she called me Mommy, and I really enjoyed that. She's like, oh, Mommy, you're the best. I'm like, I'm Mommy to every goddamn person in this city. And I love it. She was so cute and adorable. And then I had visions of you doing really horrible things to her while she was coloring in my coloring book.
Yeah, those things might have happened. One day I'll stop being single, but until that day, you just have to explore Kinkville. It's a tough life, but somebody's got to do it, right?
I agree. Eventually I think I would like to, I don't know if not being single is the word, but have a sweetie. There's a person that I know that refers, he's polyamorous, and he's very successful with his polyamory, and he's been doing it for 10 plus years, and he's got 3 or, I'm pretty sure it's 3 women that he's in long-term relationships with, and he calls them all sweetie, which I really like because it's not, primary and secondary, and it's all sweetie. So maybe one day, but until that day comes, why not enjoy the wonderful people of Toronto?
Sweetie's a good term, And speaking of enjoying the people of Toronto, we're prepping for Forbidden. So I have to go out and get like a 10-man tent just so I can house all the sweeties.
No, you can't call them sweeties unless you're in a relationship with them. Don't taint the sweetie. No. Don't taint the sweetie. But I'm not going to be at Forbidden.
Oh, yeah. Well, we actually have so many extra chicks going that we're getting a second slut site. That's what I'm calling it. The beta slut site. Because you can only have so many people on a campsite apparently, and let's face it, we're just like, hey, you want to go to Forbidden? They're like, okay. So now we got a whole entourage of gorgeous ladies coming up, and I don't know. Well, what's great is that they dig chicks, so if you put them all in a tent and throw some Nutella in there, and then I kind of hop in, then everybody's having a good time.
I am going to be at FetCon, So
yes.
I will be thinking of you while I'm working and promoting our show.
I'll promote the show too. Just, I'll just write it on chick titties, and then I'm sure that'll help promote.
Yeah. You will be at Forbidden, and I will be at FetCon, and we will both be up to no good. I am quite sure of that.
Oh, yeah. Faux show.
So what else did I get into?
Yeah, what else? What else did you get into, Sin? Come on.
I went to rope bite this Saturday, which literally ended up with rope and bite marks all over my body, which I don't think is the initial meaning of rope bite, but that's what it ended up being for me. So that was a lot of fun on Saturday. It was a good fucking time. Got tied by some really mean men and demoed for some really mean impromptu demoing for a really mean man. And then I went to the Genesis party last night at Oasis.
How was that? I got home late from the cottage, and I had soaked up so much sun that I was zonked. If I had shown up, the heated pool would have just killed me. So.
Yeah. No, it was fun. So for people that don't know what Oasis is, it is I don't want to use the word sex club, but it's a club where sex is permitted. That's a better way of saying it. But it does hold different events. And last night was hosted by Genesis, and it was a Genesis party, which and this place has an outdoor pool that's 365, and a hot tub and a sauna, and then themed kind of sex rooms, not themed, but, sex rooms and a little dungeon. So I went with somebody who is a wonderful human being, okay? Mm-hmm. Wonderfully awful human being, very mean man, but very heavy on the MSDS sort of dynamic, which, I adore. So I grew up, and I did 10 piercing corset on my back last night.
Wow.
And it was delightfully painful. I mean, really fucking painful. And, there he is, fucking sticking me with these needles, and he's humming circus, and I'm like squirming. But
sounds like my kind of guy.
Yeah, the end result was absolutely beautiful, and Sir knows exactly what he's doing. And it was just a really wonderful night. Lots of fun, lots of pain, lots of love-ins, just a really fabulous night. So I will definitely, the party itself was well hosted, great crowd of people. I would definitely check out a Genesis party again. I will definitely go to the next one, I think, just to, see what it's all about. And if I'm lucky, maybe get into more mischief while I'm there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh. Speaking of mischief, this week I huffed chloroform.
Well, okay, what? Most people don't huff chloroform.
Well, it's one of these things. It's a very lethal substance, and that's why they stopped using it, because the anesthesiologists, blah 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 blah, even they couldn't keep people alive with it, and so it's one of these things that even if you just huff it, you just huff the chloroform, your eyes instantly start going blurry. And it's to the point where one of the females I was with almost dropped the bottle that we were holding. And, so chloroform.
Okay, back this boat up. First of all, who on earth gave you chloroform? That's my first question.
Well, there's somebody who's related to the law enforcement kind of industry, and it was, all I can say, it was carefully supervised, and I don't currently own it. So
okay,
yeah.
good. That's actually kind of relieving.
So I don't own chloroform, but I can tell you what it smells like, and it kind of just smells like glue, times 1,000. Yeah. And the more you sniff it, the happier you get, like instantly. It's like right away. And
right.
Yeah, so I can totally see why chloroform was taken off the shelves and kind of illegal. Yeah, so I can't confirm or deny it. I can't confirm or deny
allegedly.
it, but allegedly, I may have huffed chloroform this week. So yeah, it's a good night. It's a casual Tuesday night. What did you guys do? Oh, we went out to the movies. What did you do, Elwood? Oh, I was hanging with some hotties and we were huffing chloroform. So, ta-da!
So did anybody pass out? I have to ask.
No. We just literally we smelled it. We whiffed it or huffed it or whatever word you want to use, but we didn't pour it on a rag or play pass the rag game and see who can pass out first because it is a lethal substance, right? So,
yes.
And we were carefully supervised by law enforcement and. It's just one of these things where now I can literally say I know what chloroform smells like. It's.
I may know somebody that has allegedly know somebody that has a bottle of chloroform, and I always see it there, and I'm like, can I have some of that? And they're like, no, you cannot. And I'm like, just a little, no. So maybe one day I'll grow up and be able to try the chloroform, but probably not. So what else did you get up to?
What else did I get up to this week? We did some crotch rope suspensions, and nothing says suspension like when you're hanging from your crotch. It's just it's a heartwarming feeling that you can share with your friends. And
I concur. I actually got some crotch rope action this weekend, and I may or may not have messied up somebody's brand new rope.
That sucks. Well, you can just boil it, just wash her, boil her. You'll be fine.
Yeah, it's not my problem.
Yeah, if he were a real sub, you would take care of his rope for him. But
I offered, but he's like,
oh,
no.
well, you offered, so that's good. That's not bad then. Yeah.
Love the crotch rope.
That's it.
So fortunate.
Yeah, what else did I get up to this week? That was kind of like
obviously,
the highlight. I got together with
living
some
the
friends.
rough life up at the cottage.
Yeah, the cottage was nice. Finally getting a little warmer up here in Canada, and yeah, it's so nice. I'm going to have some hotties up maybe next week or the week after and live the terrible life that is Elwood,
Oh, I know.
Yep.
I know.
So what's our show about this week, Synn? I know we wrote a few things down.
Well, because we're not going to have a guest this week, you and I are going to chat about different types of play. I think we, between the two of us, are well-versed enough to have this conversation in an informative and positive way for our listeners. Mm-hmm. I think that we've played in various arenas everywhere, here and abroad, and, sharing that kind of information. Because when we use the word play, it brings up a whole set of imagery for everybody. Everybody's play is different. So we're going to kind of touch base on all those plays. What do you think of that?
The world of Kinkville is so vast that a lot of people, when they're new, they say, I have no limits, I'm blah, 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 I'm awesome. And they have no idea what's out there.
Right.
Because I'm like, I'll suggest a few things, and they're like, oh no, well, I won't do that. Well, then how about this? And I'll suggest another terrible thing, and they're like, whoa, no, not that. I'm like, okay, well, maybe you should change your profile and write down some things that you're at least curious about, and then start there, Yeah, when people are new, yeah, I really like it when people are open to try new things. I recommend doing it with somebody that you've checked their references. And, definitely check references. Ask other people in the community on FetLife, what do you think of so-and-so, and see what they say about them. And, if you have a bad experience with somebody or like a beige experience where you're bored out of your tree with someone doing a certain thing, don't hate the kink, try it again with somebody else because, let's face it, the way I do rope is totally different from the way somebody else does rope. And you can hand the same flogger to 10 different people and you're going to have 10 different experiences every single time. So, so if you don't dig flogging, that's cool. Maybe you really hated it. Yeah, that's fine. But maybe the guy or the lady was terrible at it, and gave you a bad night. So.
Well, yeah, that's true. Like I recently, a couple months ago or whatever, had a really yucky experience with nipple clamps. Up until that point in time, they weren't my favorite, but, I've got the big boobs, so people love to play with the big boobs, and I don't mind. I like it, too. Mm-hmm. But I had this horrible experience, and right now I still am not, 100% on the nipple clamp thing. It's not, I have to get over it, and I'm working through it and all that kind of stuff. But I had the knowledge prior to know that I do like the nipple clamps when done properly.
Sure.
So I'm very fortunate, and I don't think that that's going to ruin my experience with nipple clamps for life. However, if I was a newbie and had that experience, I can guarantee you I probably would never touch a nipple clamp again. It would be a hard limit.
Yeah, and for the new listeners or for those who are about to have nipple clamps put on them, make sure that when you're putting on a nipple clamp, take your index finger and your thumb and grab the nipple, and then pull on it, and you put the clamps behind the nipple, right? It's still on the areola, but it's not on the end of the nipple. You don't want to do that.
And you know what? Yeah. You can tug on them pretty good, but you can't necessarily yank on them and practically rip somebody's nipple off.
No. You can if you really know the person and and you know that they enjoy it, and there's everybody's different, but for the most part, that's a bad scene, right?
That is a bad scene, let me tell you.
Yeah, well,
so tonight,
slapping the inner thigh for 99% of the people, I found that 1% that actually orgasms from slapping the inner thigh. Most of the time it's me twisting a mustache going, as I'm slapping the inner thigh. But I discovered somebody who actually orgasms from that. So everybody's different, right?
Oh, everybody's body is different. And so tonight what we're going to do is, we've kind of broken it down for us. This by no means is the only type of play. We've kind of broken it down into little groups so that we can explain the things that we want to talk about. Mm-hmm. This is not some sort of Bible. This is just Elwood and Synn kind of getting together, brainstorming, and grouping things the way we like them. But first we're going to talk about general play guidelines. And again, this isn't Bible. This isn't universal. Some of it can be, but this is just good information brought to you by the two of us, hooligans.
Da, 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 da.
So we're going to start with general play. We're going to move into impact. We're going to hit some role play. We're going to hit some psychological play. We're going to get into some fetish play. And then, we're going to probably be over. So let's start with general play guidelines. Dungeon etiquette.
I'm bored already. What'd you say, dungeon etiquette?
Yes, and you shouldn't be bored because you know how much it pisses you off when that random dude or dudette comes strolling into the middle of your scene as you're having it with complete disregard of your scene, your space, and your partner.
Absolutely.
People really need to know that when you're in a dungeon space, and it might be a small one, be that as it may, when people are having an intimate scene, yes, you can watch, yes, you can look, and yes, you can talk to the person that you're with, but you cannot interrupt the scene by interjecting or asking questions or actually touching somebody. This is not good dungeon etiquette at all. No.
And just because that person is doing X with X, that person is doing a flogging scene with so-and-so, doesn't mean that they automatically just want to play with you because you know how to use a flogger too.
Right.
So putting that out there as well.
Yeah, that that moves on to the second thing is just because I'm there being it's kind of like your vending machine theory, right? Like just because you've seen me or my partner do something doesn't mean, and you're available, doesn't mean that I'm obligated or I want to even do that thing with you.
Oh yeah,
so don't,
absolutely.
Come up and expect it because that's bad dungeon etiquette.
Or as a top expecting submission from a bottom. I've heard stories of subs, like, just sitting on a chair, watching the scene, whatever, and then you'll get these, like, show doms showing up, and they're like, oh, I need the chair because I have to sit here. Like that kind of bullshit. So that's
like
cool.
Making that, general assumption that you are king of the world and everybody, king or queen, because I've seen girls do it too, female, that because you identify as a dominant, everybody must bow down to you and give up, their seats or get you your drink. Usually it's actually, it happens a lot, which is kind of sad.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. There's this attitude that doms are doms and subs are subs, and it's all interchangeable, which it's not.
No.
Especially new people coming in, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I personally don't like seeing that kind of stuff. So I've never had to, tell somebody to stop that because I've never really seen it personally. But I do hear, lots of stories of these kind of things happening. And especially online because everyone can hide behind their computer, So, yeah.
Well, I read a post today from somebody online, and, they happened to be in Toronto, but really it could have been from anybody. And it was this whole thing about how they went to a party and nobody picked them to play with. So and it was wham. I didn't get to play, and it's because there was some mentioning of greed, and of course it was everybody else's fault that nobody wanted to play with him. And
was this from a top point of view?
Yes.
Was this a top?
Yes.
Okay. So it was a guy, and he thought that just because he could show up at a party, that he was entitled to play with people.
Yeah, and was very whiny about the fact that nobody played with him. Or nobody wanted to. And I'm reading this post, and you know what? I have never, I can count on my hands how many people I've actually blocked or deleted as friends on FetLife. I read this man's, little mini post. Always the voyeur, never the player was one comment in his post. And I immediately blocked him because I'm like, dude, I never want you to ever come up to me at a play party if you're going to be carrying around that sense of entitlement that people should just automatically play with you because you've arrived to the party and, you're a dominant. So, you're going to stand on the wall, and if nobody actually plays with me, then it's, whining on FetLife. Whatever, buddy.
People see me do a lot of crazy stuff, and but you have to understand that I've had this rapport built with these people for years, or months, or at least some time before we actually get together and play in public. Because also playing in public, nobody goes like 110%. You normally bring like 60% of your game, that isn't too sexual, that you can kind of do in public. You're not going, 100%.
Right.
So I don't know.
So again, just to recap, just because you go to a party doesn't mean you're entitled to be played with, or women or men or subs or doms are supposed to just come flocking and running to you to play with you. That's not the way it works. Ooh, play with me, I'm here, I've arrived. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. Although when they are doing that, it's pretty hot though. It's like, oh, play with me, and you're like, oh, this is kind of hot, because begging is hot, right? So.
Well, begging's hot, but if it's some person that's got this sense of entitlement on his shoulders, then it's not hot. Yeah, it's not hot.
No.
Or this girl.
Totally agree. All right. So
dungeon
another
etiquette.
thing about etiquette, knowing your skill is probably a good thing to talk about. So if you're green, the best thing to do is to tell people you're new. Be like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I'm fresh out of the box. I just got unplugged.
That's a great way to say it.
Well, I just got unplugged from the Matrix, and now I'm here. So, show me what Zion's got to show me. And, be honest about it. Say, I've only had one rope scene, or I've only flogged once. And if you're just honest about your skill level, then you won't get people angry with you later. If you're all that in a side of fries and you show up and you start hurting people in rope bondage or wielding floggers in the face or, doing things wrong and terrible, you're just going to look like a hack in public. And, nobody's going to want to rock and roll with that.
No, people are going to respect you far more if you show up and say, I am new, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here to learn and be introduced, rather than posturing and walking around like you know what the fuck you're doing and, creating that persona that just doesn't exist. People are going to have a lot more respect. The community is going to enjoy you much better. And what we're saying isn't just applicable in Toronto. It's applicable across the board. People are going to respect you so much more and be more apt to say, hey, buddy, you want to let me show you how to, hold that flogger. Let me show you where not to hit and where to hit. And let me show you how to, as opposed to you walking around like you're king of the world or queen of the world and you know everything. Because at that point, nobody is really going to want to play with you. And 9 times out of 10, what's really hilarious is that it's a small world. Like, the community knows who's new and who isn't.
So, yeah, absolutely. And I've been in the kink scene for a long time. I went down to Orlando. And Master Cecil, who helps run the woodshed, he's like, Elwood, every night you're here, I'm going to teach you something new. So even though I've been in Kink Town for a while, he's like, what do you want to learn tonight? I go, well, I haven't thrown whips in a while. He's like, I'm going to teach you like 3 new ways to throw whips. And we were throwing whips like a champ. And it was a grand old night. And every night I was there was a whole new lesson from Master Cecil, and I can't thank him enough. But those are the kind of things that, you can just put your pride aside and go, hey, I only know this. And people will help. That's it. There's
always more to learn. And the minute that you stop thinking that, there is more to learn is the minute your game gets wah, wah, wah. I have been doing this on and off for fucking forever. And I'm still learning. I suck. I'll tell you what, I suck with a flogger. I suck donkey balls when it comes to wheeling a flogger. I can't, my wrists just don't, but I'm still practicing. I'm still learning better techniques, different ways. Like, you know, there's always something to learn. And admitting that you don't know is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all.
Yep.
Let's talk about safe words in the dungeon because it's important. That's probably the next thing that's important about dungeon etiquette. Most dungeons that I've been to will have the standard safe words on their rules list. And here's another one. When you're going into a dungeon, look for the rules list because every dungeon has one, okay? And it's important to know the rules so that you don't inadvertently break them, right?
Absolutely. And there are a few of them. I've seen rule lists so big that the giant piece of paper was taller than I am. And
that's a lot of rules, buddy.
Well, they used big font, and it was a really big sign. But I still thought it was funny. I should have taken a photo with me of it, you know? I'm like, these are the things I'm not here to read, you know?
Don't say that.
No, I'm kidding. That's why I was there, you know, reading the rules.
So every dungeon has them. Some people use red, green, and yellow, which would be the majority. And then there's flat out no. In some cases, like at Oasis, for example, no is no. The minute that no is said, everything stops. And that's the number one rule, actually, at that place, because I read it yesterday.
Well, it is a majority like a swingers club. You know, it is a sex club, but the majority of the clientele are swingers, and you're definitely going to tell them no. But that's a different thing. Let's keep going with where we're going here.
Well, we're talking about safe words. So basically, if you're new to a dungeon, red, let's just go over them. What does green mean?
Green means go, baby. You know.
What does yellow mean?
Well, for the most part, it means check in and change things up. You know, I've had enough with such and such, and let's change things up and check in. Bam.
Yeah, it also means, okay, if you're doing something new and the person is unsure, it also means, okay, we're getting close to my threshold. Let's just tread a little carefully here. Mm-hmm. And red. What does red mean?
Red means go, baby. No condoms, balls to the wall. All the way in. That's it. Or it means stop. I can't remember. I'll have to go to that giant sign again. I'll have to go to that giant sign and see where on the rule sheet red is located. But yeah, it definitely means stop. And I'm going to be honest, a lot of subs forget to use safe words in a scene because they're so into the scene that they've dropped into subspace so hard that they're gone, like they're lost. And so what you got to listen for is once the moaning or the whimpering or the crying or the screaming, once those sounds become unsexy, okay, that's when I normally stop there or, you know, check in with the person at least. And all I say is, you know, hey, you can use your words up if you want. And
if you want.
Yeah, your words to stop this or to change this or, you know, something like that. And yeah, I've had 4 or 5 instances where that's happened. And so you just gotta be ready for it. You know, that just comes with experience because when you're just beating the fuck out of somebody, I'll be honest, I can't really hear, you know, and so they got to speak up. And that's a communication thing. I'll normally let them know that, hey, make sure when you use your safe words, you fucking say them because there's going to be a lot of screaming and terribleness going on here. And, you know, when you're in the eye of the storm, sometimes I can't hear things. So
very true.
Make sure at the bottom, punch that up, and as a top, just pay attention to your bottom. Like if their leg starts twitching, run your hands over it, see what's going on. If they start making like sounds, then that's not a sexy sound. Let's face it. I like I can't make I can't make the sexy sounds, but we've all heard them, and
we know them.
Yeah, so stay on the sexy train. Don't stay on the derailment.
I as you know, for what I do see a lot of people that I've never played with before. I don't know them from Adam. They come to me and they want some impact play. And I have had to learn over time that, drilling those words, use your words into people's heads is probably one of the best things that have not saved because it wasn't any dire straits or anything, but really, really saved my bacon. Because you're right, people do, men and women, get so caught up and enamored with what's going on, and it might not even be in a bad way. They're just lost in their own heads.
They love
what's going on.
they love it.
But as a top, my job is to make sure that you, and this is me, I'm talking about me personally, not the world. I feel like my job is to make sure your well-being is taken care of because it's in my hands. So I'm always about, and this again is what I tell anybody that I'm scening with, is I'm going to check in with you. I'm going to break role. I'm going to check in with you. I don't know you. I don't know your body. I don't know anything about you. So I am going to break role with you, and I'm going to ask you, are you doing okay? During the course of our scene, I'm going to remind you to use your words. And then I reiterate the colors, use this for this and that for this and that for that. And if there's a gag situation going on and I have prevented my play partner from speaking, they get the tennis ball. Really simple stuff. If you drop the ball, I know immediately to stop what I'm doing. This is your way of communicating with me that things are not okay. So I want you to hold on to this ball. And if there is an issue, you drop it and we stop and everything ends immediately. Because, sometimes we do play with gags.
Absolutely.
And there has to be a way out. Now, as time goes on, because we've dungeons and we've seen people who don't use safe words, who say, I have no limits. Those are the people that know each other so well, that have played together for so long, that they've evolved into that situation. So if you're a newbie and you want to say, well, those people aren't doing it, well, you aren't those people, sweetie. And until you get to that level in life,
don't try to be.
Don't try to be. Don't. And you know what? You shortchange yourself the experience if you do. Anyways, it's really a pleasure to get to know somebody's body over the course of many different scenes with somebody. Don't try and pretend that you do if you don't. Because, the things that we do are dangerous sometimes. And there's no room for pretending.
Yep. Bam.
Cleanliness.
Right.
That's the last one of dungeon etiquette, cleanliness. And why on earth did you write what you wrote?
No, don't write. Don't read that. Don't read what I wrote beside that on the air. They don't need to hear that. They don't. But cleanliness.
God damn it, clean your space.
Yeah, clean your space, damn it.
You know when you go to the gym and you sweat all over a piece of equipment and everybody's really, really diligent about cleaning the piece of equipment before somebody else gets on there? No different at a dungeon, okay? Extra clean it. Usually 95% of the dungeons that I have gone to have cleaning stations strewn about, where you can find condoms, lubes, wipes, Cavicide, whatever that stuff is, Cavicide, Lysol, all sorts of stuff. Clean.
I'll be honest. If I don't see the people ahead of me clean it, like if I'm just going up to something fresh and nobody's around, I'll have the sub clean it first. And,
absolutely.
And then we'll clean it after. But if there's a scene just beforehand and I watch them clean it, I'm like, all right, that's cool. You know? So
last
put
night,
that out
the
there.
scene that last night the scene that I did with Sir was obviously bloody, right? Like, I mean, he's poking needles in my back. So there's going to be blood, and there's going to be, more, it's a little higher extreme form of play, which comes with more fluids.
Mm-hmm.
Gloves, antiseptics, Band-Aids. I mean, Sir goes with a full kit.
Helicopter.
Everything that you can imagine for anything to go bad, to sterilized, you name it, we had it. The scene that we did, there was, we had gowns so that we could lay down on top of the medical table. We had everything because cleanliness is important. It's important for your own safety and for the people that are going to be playing on that piece of equipment afterwards. So clean your equipment, clean your toys. Do not put your toys away back in the bag dirty. Take the 5 minutes and wipe them down. Because when you put them back in your bag dirty, they're going to touch your other toys.
That's it.
And then you're going to have a bag full of, or your junk, and you're going to have a bag full of yuckiness. So really common sense, really funny how it's so common that you don't see people doing it.
Yeah, and clean your toys with a germicide. Yes,
please.
Yeah, Hep C, you can't boil away. Just putting that out there. So, if you have things like anal hooks or things like that, boiling won't kill Hep C. So just a reminder.
Yeah. Just be a responsible kinkster. Especially when you're in a space where there's a whole bunch of other kinksters.
Absolutely.
So now we get to talk about the fun stuff.
Oh, good, because I was getting really bored.
Shut up.
Okay. I would
just
fast
because
forward
you
to
know
that
everything. Would it help you to know that I'm sitting here topless? Does that make things better for you?
Oh, it makes it way better.
Okay.
And, all right, let's talk about impact. So, impact's great. All right, give us the definition there, Synn.
Well, impact play. Well, let me just Google that shit because I didn't write it down.
You have to Google it. What are you? Some kind of Google master?
Impact. I am Google master.
I thought you were supposed to know these things.
Well, I'm trying to know everything, but sometimes I have to push other shit out to put the new stuff in. Impact play is a human sexual practice in which one person, the sub, is struck, usually repeatedly, by another person, the dom, for sexual gratification of either or both parties. It's considered a form of BDSM. The only thing that I would change about that statement is it's not always about sexual gratification. But other than that, I think that's a really great definition, don't you?
Yeah, I think they spent some time on that,
That's a good one. Thank you, Wikipedia.
All right. So what's your fave? Let's start with your faves. What turns you on the most, Synn?
I'm going to have to go with all of the above. Is that okay?
All of the above.
Okay, so impact play can involve hands, floggers, canes. I mean, any instrument really, wooden spoons, which are really evil. I like to use drumsticks. Have you ever hit somebody with a drumstick? That's a lot of fun.
Drumsticks, extendable batons, my face,
Billy bats,
all sorts of things.
Wow. Impact play can be done on the ass, the tits, the legs, the arms, underneath the arms, the back of the knees, the feet, which is really deadly.
Oh, yeah, it's called bastonado. And it's great. If somebody has to walk the next day or they have to work and stand, Oh, they'll hate you the entire day, every minute. You will get so many texts the next day of how much they hate you, and then they'll come back again, and then you're like, wow, this is awesome.
I at work, a lot of the people that come and see me, they think they're such smart asses. They want to come and see me, and they're like, but I can't have marks, but I like impact pay, but just light. I'm like, oh, you can't have marks, eh? So does your wife check the bottom of your feet? Because I'm going to go with no on that. And their eyes just widen because they think they've outsmarted me, right? Yeah. Yeah, no, sweetheart, give me those feet. I love it. But anyways, I like different forms of impact play for different reasons. Like if I want to break down and cry and really go to that place, canes on the front of my legs is what's going to take me there.
Sure, absolutely.
Elwood, you are an impeccable spanker. You really know how to spank, bare hand spank a woman. And I really enjoy that too.
Well, it is a good hobby. I'll be honest, toys are fun and toys are great, and you might look cool holding them, but my best pair of impact tools are my hands, and they go with me everywhere. It's great, and they do all sorts of things, and yeah, one of them is spanking, and the connection is awesome. And I'll be honest, if I can bruise my wrist, then I've had a really great night, You can ass punch as well. Ass punching's great. And slapping, and you can get some really great, beautiful bruises, and then you can pinch those or punch them, or there's all sorts of things you can just simply do with your hands. There's nothing like, seeing both your handprints on the inner thighs and then sending somebody off to their horse riding lesson the next day.
Oh, ow.
Yeah. Those are, some of the fun things you can add to your kink lifestyle. And, spanking's great. And I don't know why, but I've been asked actually several times by random guys how to spank. I'm sitting there going, what do you mean? Like, literally, you just take your hand and you connect it with the ass, and everybody's happy.
It doesn't work quite like that, though. You've just been doing it for so long that you're used to it. Like Sexapalooza, when I worked at Sexapalooza this year, 90% of the people that came for us for demos were to learn how to spank because people are afraid of hurting their partners.
Oh.
Really hurting their partners. Not.
Well, you're gonna hurt them, but you're not. They're gonna talk to you the next day.
I know, but we are coming from a Kinkville, baby. We live in Kinkville, so for us, it's like fisting on a Tuesday night is a normal thing. But for most people, there's that threshold that they have to cross in order to be able to spank their partner because they really don't want to hurt them.
I've heard this several times from random chickie friends where guys have actually broke down crying because the lady wants them to hit them harder.
Yeah, and they have a really psychological... Well, let's be honest here. Men have been taught not to hit women. From the minute they fly out of the womb, it's one of the first things that we're told, right? Do not hit women. You do not hit women. Under no circumstances do you hit a woman, which I think is crazy. Not even just in a kink way, but in a general way.
Sure.
So a lot of people have a problem crossing that threshold and being okay with doing really horrible things to women.
And I think if you're at the top, even if you're fresh out of the gate, if they're consenting to it, step up to the plate, buddy, or lady, and if you can give them something that some other guy can't, then you're one up. If this was a giant video game, you're now at level 2, buddy. and I think that's why I don't have to work on getting abs. You know, I could spend a lot of time getting abs and just showing abs to everyone, or I can make people orgasm for 42 minutes. You know, in an impact scene. So those are the things. Okay, let's get back to impact. Let's go back to impact.
Okay, so impact can also be we have under here punishment and punishment under the impact. Yes. So why don't you let people know, because I love your little explanations here. So I'm going to let you take care of punishment, explaining what punishment is versus punishment.
All right. Well, punishment in Kingtown, in like a DS-MS kind of relationship, are for things that they haven't done right. Okay? So this can be very playful, where, you know, no matter what she does, she's wrong. You know, she was 3 minutes late, so now you got to punish her for those 3 minutes, you know? Or you give her a task, and no matter what she's going to do, she's going to fail. So, but punishment, there's all sorts of things. You know, there's corner time. You can have the person kneel on Legos. Those fucking hurt.
Oh, they hurt so bad. Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Putting terrible things in their mouth to hold, you know. All sorts of, like, punishments. Or you can, you know, for punishment, you can give them you know, like a humiliating kind of punishment, and you're having fun, and deep down they want to do it, but they need to be forced, right? Like one thing is wearing an anal hook to a restaurant. You know, you now have this giant hook, and somehow you have to keep from other people seeing it, and it's tied around your waist, and you know, that's kind of like punishment to me. You know, they feel embarrassed and hate it, but you know, deep down inside they love that fact. But you know, and you know, maybe you're just doing it because you want them to. It's not because they didn't clean your dishes properly, or you know, things like that. So those are punishment and punishment kind of things. And you gotta watch the punishments. Sometimes tops take it too far, you know. So just watch what you're doing in Punishment Town. You know, even just
a lot of people do the psychological punishment, which some people can take and some people can't. You know. Yeah.
So you have to really know your partner to at what point does punishment turn into, you know, psychological torture, shit like that. So it gets deep, man. You know, especially when you get into humiliation, degradation, all that kind of stuff. So you have to really know where the boundaries are in that person, and that just takes time. Let's talk about sensual stuff. Give me some their sensual impact play. Give me some stuff on that.
A lot of people at work that come to see me are not about, you know, the pain. They're more into the sensual sort of, still an impact, but done in a sensual kind of way. And I happen to be quite decent at that. So it's more of a coaxing. Pardon me?
I don't know what you're talking about, so yeah.
I know you don't. This is not
it's a sensual
this
thing.
is not your arena.
I can be sensual, just I just can't understand sensual and impact. So please enlighten me.
Well, it's okay. So obviously you're not going to hit somebody full force when you're doing sort of a sensual impact scene, and I don't really have this in my personal life. I can only speak from my professional life. You know, they want to be spanked, but they want to be spanked almost in a mommy sort of loving way. So they want to be berated and they want to be hit, punished, so to speak. And again, we're talking play. We're not talking punishment, like they've not done something right. So, you might have one of those paddles that are soft on one side and hard on the other side. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think
like
I've seen
suede and leather or furry and, And they're really more like a spanking that would kind of vibrate through the balls. So, you can do it with your hands too. And I'm usually see men, but this works on women as well. If you can cup your hand and go underneath the ass, where the ass and the thigh meet from behind, and start cupping and spanking. That's more of a cupping motion. So you're still spanking. You're not hitting very hard. There's a vibration that can develop as you're doing this, and that vibration will go right through the balls and up through the cock or in the pussy, in a woman's pussy. And usually there's a lot of verbal cooing and awing going on. So, you're a bad boy, and it hurts me more than it hurts you. And it's a very erotic and sensual sort of spanking. You can also use the toys that I was mentioning, with the weight on the one side. So you're doing a lot of rubbing of the bum and maybe one quick smack and then a lot more rubbing and sensuality going. Maybe you're rubbing, your breastises on their back as you're spanking them. It's a very soft and slow sort of impact.
Right. I think it's called camel bites when you cup your hand to hit somebody. I don't know. I don't know what it's called. I just know it works, man. Yeah. And if you got a good little momentum going, again, everything starts to kind of vibrate. You can catch this nice little vibration that's kind of seeps through everything, the genitalia. Yeah. And, it's very erotic, very arousing. So that's what I mean by sensual. Usually, and like I said, there's a lot of verbalization that goes along with it to kind of top it off. It's like the whipping cream of the situation. Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's kind of like light pussy spanking. Exactly. I do a lot of pussy spanking, and some people can take it really hard, and some people, they want to keep it light, or don't do it at all. And then, so yeah, okay, light, sensual impact play. Okay. Look at you, okay. Okay, that is a thing. Yeah, people do like that kind of stuff. I'm glad. I don't know, because, everyone likes different things. Personally, I like adding a second knee sometimes, but that gets a little scary, What do you mean? Back that boat up, what? Sometimes if you hit somebody in the leg so much, they actually grow like this huge like goose egg, and I call it the second knee. Yeah. I don't do that often because most people are too fluffy, and naturally I want to stay within their boundaries. But every once in a while, when I get together with somebody who's like, I like everything, I'm like, all right, let's do this, and let me introduce you to your third knee, is that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, we're adding a second knee on one leg. Oh, yeah. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. On Saturday at Rope Bite, if I had been I got a shot above the knee on the side. If I had been standing up, I would have hit the fucking floor like a ton of bricks. Oh. Like, it was just this sweet spot. And that's the other thing with impact. Impact doesn't necessarily have to be damaging. Impact can, damaging. It doesn't have to be, a spank. It can be pushing on or pinching or pushing or punching pressure points or these little nooks and crannies of the body that you don't realize will bring you to your knees in 2.5 seconds, which is always a lot of fun.
because most people don't know their body that intimately.
That's right. And pressure points are great for when people don't want bruises. And
exactly.
Yeah, but if you go to a pressure point workshop and learn a whole bunch of pressure points, make sure not to push for longer than 13, 15 seconds-ish, because you can literally damage that nerve cluster. So,
yeah.
Put that out there.
And that's, you know what, back to the nipples, I was meaning to mention it. If you've never really played with nipple clamps or anything like that, you don't leave the nipple clamps on for a long period of time.
Oh.
Let somebody learn. So, you know, put them on for 5-10 minutes, 10 minutes max. I wouldn't really even go at 10 and remove them. And,
right.
you know, try again later. So.
Absolutely. Now we're at the bottom of the first hour.
Yep. Dude, we're not going to get to all of these things.
Yeah, you got to shut up. You just let me talk.
Shut up.
The rest of the hour should be at least mine. That's it.
Okay, yes, because you're the king, and I'm just a peon that decided to join you.
I know it's a pre-recorded show, but I know we have a few listeners out there. And if you do want to call in, the number is 1-855-349-0665. It's 1-855-349-0665. And for our Canadian and UK listeners, you do have to log in with Skype, and you have to sign up for Blog Talk Radio. I apologize, but them's the breaks. So we'll get to our ads, and then we'll be back in the next couple of minutes. Here we go.
Hey, Elwood. Have you checked out my awesome website yet?
No, I've been staring at FetLife too long. Wait a minute. There's other websites other than FetLife? Really?
Yeah. Dude, you got to go check out www.littlemisssin.com. Not only do you get all your sinful needs in one location, but you also get insight into our upcoming shows and guests. You know, shit you might want to know.
Oh, well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I live to make your life sweet.
I know you do, baby. What's that website again?
www.LILMISSSYNN.com. Just check it out, okay?
Right. LittleMissSin.com. I'll check it out right after I'm done checking out this profile.
Thank you for joining us. We're heading into the second hour of the Underground Sex Show. You must be 18 years of older to listen, since we walk into perverted little worlds that you can only imagine. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Listener discretion is advised. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, here we are. Here we are again. Bam.
I know, baby. So let's move on to role play, because it's not a big little subsection.
No.
So I think
can I play
get through it pretty quickly. No, you can't.
Well, I kind of like the daddy little girl role play. That's a nice one. Or abduction play, where I'm the abductor. Or you know, what else? What other role plays do I like? Kitty play. You know, I don't mind putting out a bowl and having a hottie, you know, lick ice cream out of it or things like that. What role play do I normally kind of get into? We'll talk about all the different ones. So I'm just talking about my faves, you know. I think that's it. I just kind of play myself, you know.
Yeah, I know. I'm familiar.
So, in Roleplay Town, what do you dig there, Sin?
I'm actually, I enjoy Daddy Little Girl. That's hot as shit. I obviously enjoy mommy play, me being the mommy, of course.
The destruction of something innocent is always hot. I don't know what it is, but if I can tear that little cute thing apart, then everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. I don't use the word destruction. I definitely do have a soft spot for corrupting the youth, is the best way. See, that's how I say it. I definitely, so I enjoy the, the daddy, mommy, and or daddy, little girl, and mommy and son, or mommy and daughter. I like big sister, little sister, obviously me being the big sister. I can be, who said it to me? Somebody, if you meow, I'm going to hurt you. Sometimes I can be kittenish, but at Shibari Con, there was a room full of cats and kitten play. Like, I can't go to that level. But I do enjoy wearing little kitten ears and a little bell and drinking out of bowls and whatnot. I think my most desired role play right now currently is a really hardcore interrogation scene. I would love to do that. Full on, maybe a couple of days sort of mental deprogramming, interrogation, torture, grimy, gross basement play, that kind of thing.
Yeah. My last interrogation scene, I think, was 36 hours. So
yeah, I'm hungry for that, baby.
Yeah, there's nothing hotter than having a chained up little cutie that you can use whenever you want and just torture the fuck out of. And you just you hop on the roller coaster and it's like, let's do this and let's do that and let's do this. I'll have a little nap while you're getting tortured over here. And for the last one, what I did was when I was finally ready to go to sleep, this was after, I think, 12 hours of interrogation and torture, I chained her to the floor, to the radiator, and I put her in a position where she was kind of in the fetal position, but you can still sort of almost extend your arms and legs, like almost, but not quite. So after a while, your joints are going to start to hurt, right? And then what I did was, because, that's not enough, I put on a strobe light. So I put on a strobe light, and I put the strobe light to a low setting. So it went like every second. So it was like bink, bink, bink.
Oh, God. That's
and
awful.
You know what? At first you're like, whatever, this is cool. After 15 minutes, she just cried the rest of the night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I can imagine.
Bink.
Yeah, I have this
Bink.
really huge fantasy
Bink.
of, being abducted and just tortured for a couple of days on end by various people, too, or somebody portraying various people, because you really don't know what's going on, right?
Sure.
I would think that that's one of my big ones. But people do, cosplay. That could be considered role play.
Absolutely. I have some friends that make the most craziest outfits. I'm like, why aren't you in the movies doing, wardrobe? Because I had one friend who made literally minotaur legs with the fur and the hooves and the tail and the horns. And, literally, if you snapped a photo, she would be fucking Narnia, okay? You wouldn't be able to tell. She could just hop right into the movie, and you would just be like, yeah, cool. Literally, the cosplay people, my hat's off to you, because they do such a phenomenal job, Yeah. I'm just like, absolutely. I just threw on some plaid, and here I am, wee! But the cosplay people, wow, they get right into it, and it's so hot. So hot.
The best, and I'm sorry that I missed this party, but the best was when somebody role-played you and showed up at a party as you. She rocked it, too. She looked like you. Oh, man, that was awesome. Role-play can be a really great thing for people to break their shells as well. Because, absolutely. Again, it's psychological. So if you put yourself into a role, then it's not really you. And people seem to be able to let go of their barriers a little easier.
I wonder how many people fuck their partner pretending they're me. I don't know how that works, but have you ever pretended to be your friend? Is that a role play? I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so at all. And you know what, the classic, like, let's not forget, because a lot of NILAs do this, you know, the cop and jail and the nurse and patient.
Teacher and student, baby.
Teacher and student. I have this one that I'm still waiting to play, and it's teacher and student and cocksucking lessons, which is fun. Yeah.
I talked to one girl who actually lived out her teacher-student kind of thing, and she went back and literally just after she graduated, she fucked the principal. She walked in right into his office, right into the office, and sorry, I got all excited there. And she literally closed the door and then sat on his desk wearing a very short skirt with no panties on, and just right there, bam.
I'll tell you a story, Mr. Elwood. So there was this girl in college. I did a year at Humber, and we had an editing teacher that was kind of hot, and she decided to bet me that she would get him to play with her before I would. And I'm like, all right, sweetheart. So she starts sending him roses and flowers, and I'm like, what? All I did was it was Christmas, and I took candy canes into class for a week solid, and I just sat there with my legs open underneath my desk, no panties, and I just sucked on this candy cane for the whole class. Didn't say anything, didn't try to communicate with him, and on the Friday, I didn't bring my candy cane on the last day. The following Monday, he walks by my desk and gives me a candy cane. And and then all of a sudden I'm driving him home. Imagine that. I'm like, pay up, bitch.
Nice. Did you fuck him right on his desk?
Let's just say we had a really great car ride home.
Yeah. All right, just for the guys who love age gap, how old was he and how old were you? That's what I want to know. I want to know how old. Come on.
I was somewhere between 20.
No, don't give me a between. Give me
I think
age
I was
gap.
20. Well, you know me and time. I have no concept of it.
Whatever.
I was early 20, maybe 21, 22, and he was probably
21.
Yeah, 39, maybe.
Oh, he was 40, 45, 50.
No, he was still a young guy. And get this, just to make the story work, his girlfriend was my literature teacher. So it was all got all sticky.
Yeah.
There was layers upon layers in that situation for me that really hit some really hot, sexy buttons. Speaking of layers and layers, and she could tell, and it got really ugly, but very passively aggressively ugly.
Yeah, I should be a college teacher just so I can role play out those things more often.
I think you're good enough the way you are, don't you?
Wow,
are you
baby.
really lacking, buddy?
What other role plays? Anything else?
Well, no. I mean, role play is it's an excellent tool to open up some doors if you're having issues reaching those places with your partner. It's a really great way to, kind of delve into the fantasy world without admitting that that's what you want. You know what I mean? It's really that, hey, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a fun thing to do. I love Doctor Who role play. I love it. Take me to the TARDIS.
One fave that I never get to really play out is getting back to the daddy little girl thing. Is having her all sexy and asleep, and you just daddy's got to wake her up. That's it. Yeah.
Take what
that's it. Yeah, tell her that mommy won't know, and there we go.
Oh, so dirty.
Hey.
So fun. So fucking fun. I love it too, I gotta admit. And same with, I mean, it goes both ways with the mommy thing. I just, you know.
Sure.
You won't know, baby.
What I want to know is how many chicks pretend they're like My Little Ponies to get fucked. I just want to know the ratio.
Hey, you know what? I don't think it's the girls. It's the boys that do this. There's a word for it. Bromies?
Yeah, brony. Yeah, brony.
Brony. Yeah. They're like all about the My Little Ponies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they do that role play. And then, you know what we forgot? We forgot the furries.
Oh, how can we forget the furries?
Well, yeah, because there's like bloody well conventions that go on with furries.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, people who like to dress up in full costume, animal costumes, and role play that.
Right.
Dogs, cats, wolves, bears, all sorts of different kinds of animals. And
and you know,
have, like, conventions.
And they don't have their junk sticking out either. They just stay in their costume. Or there's different levels.
They're completely in role at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't come out of the role for the whole weekend or evening or whatever the case may be, right?
And don't forget the pony people. That's role play.
Oh yeah, the ponies.
Yeah.
They're hot, man. I know. Well, hey, man, there's lots of roles to play.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, the pony people. The one of the best outfits I've seen is you got the little carriage behind them, and they got full gear head to toe. Got the horse head, the hooves, the everything. Head
Hooves
to toe.
out, leather harnesses.
Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love seeing. I don't have the I don't think I have the discipline to be a pony, but I really do admire it.
Sure. Yeah. Now, what about being furniture? Is that a role play? Like when somebody wants to be my table and or footstool and or lamp?
I don't know
where does that fall in?
I don't know, baby. Would that really be fetish?
It's objectification. Okay.
It is.
That's what it is. But does that fall into role play? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I see, and this is why we made our little groups, because there's so much. It's really difficult to put everything away. I don't know, because you know what? Sometimes it could be service, right?
Sure.
Like you're a table for the night.
Oh, yeah. But like sometimes, like they're literally a table, so you don't even talk to them. You know, if
That's
the table moves, like, why is this table moving? And then you kick it. You know, why is this table all moist in between the legs? You know? What's going on here?
This table moist in between the legs.
Why am I having sex with this table? I don't know. What's going on? But yeah. I don't know. Is that role play?
I don't know.
All sorts of things. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's kind of objectification, and
I'm not quite sure where that would fit, to be honest, baby.
It doesn't matter. You know, I'll be honest. People put titles and categories, and they try to sort things out so much. It just annoys the fuck out of me. It really does.
Well, the only reason why we're doing it is so we can have some organizations with the show, and that's why we prefixed it with this is us doing the best that we can, because there is so much important information everywhere. Right?
Can I just sidetrack for a sec?
Yeah.
The people that are titling everything and categorizing everything, I really hate the term cis male. Makes it sound like a fucking disease. We're a fucking
Don't
disease.
even get me started.
We're a cis. We're like growing on the side of somebody's leg. You know? What does cis stand for again? It's like, I don't want to look it up because I hate it so much. But anyways, it just means that you're a straight guy. You know?
Yeah.
Okay, look it up. Look it up, since you're supposed to know everything, and I just show up.
I know. It's described related types of gender identity, where an individual's experience of their own gender matches the sex they were assigned at birth. So that's why that's the way that is.
I want to vomit all over that. I don't know what that is, but they gave us the worst title. You know.
You know what?
Straight guys get the worst fucking title. I don't know.
Don't even get me started on that, because that's a whole show in itself. I am really angry about how it is okay to bash hetero males all of a sudden.
All right, let's not go there.
Yeah, let's not go there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to psychological play, some of my favorite stuff.
Psychological play?
Woo, woo, woo. What is it?
Hold on. I think that deserves a sound effect. No, not that one.
No, that one. These are real ones.
Well, I got applause. I don't have anyone that's like for good. You know, I have a record scratch. But that doesn't really work. You know, I have a boing. Hold on. No, that doesn't work either. That's terrible.
No.
But yeah, okay. So I think this one deserves an applause. I don't know why I had to do that. I just had to do that. So psychological, yes.
So describe for us, what would I put cactus down? What does that?
Oh, I wrote that. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, what the fuck does that mean?
Oh, well, those are some of the mind fucks that I enjoy doing.
Oh, okay. So, just tell people what a mind fuck is. Mind fuck. There we go.
Well, basically, you're building up something that's not. Okay?
Right.
So you make them believe that something's going to happen, and nothing happens. You can be leading somebody up for a week, telling them that you're going to do such and such play, and, you give them hints, you send them photos of the item, or, things like that, and then you throw this into a scene, and they're like, oh my God, you're going to do this, and then you can change it up, or you can make them believe that it's happening. One thing I like to do is you get two mouse traps, and you get one that's set, and you get one that's not, and you hold the one that's not up, and they're all bound so they can't get away or use their hands or anything like that, and you show them the mouse trap, and you're like, okay, now you've already been doing clothes pegs on the titties or clothes pegs in sensitive areas and been slapping them off, and they hate it, and they're crying, and you're like, okay, well, this is getting boring. Now it's fucking mouse trap time, and you pull it out, and they freak out instantly because you're like, okay, stick out your tongue. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, stick out your fucking tongue. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, you don't get a choice. You're going to stick out your tongue. I'm going to fucking hit it with this mouse trap, and you're going to like it. And they freak right out, And they're like, you're not going to do it. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And you crank the mouse trap back, and you get it all loaded up. And you go, the best way for you to experience this mousetrap is with the blindfold, so you throw the blindfold on them, and you have them stick out your tongue. Now, literally, if they're afraid of you, it should take about 10 minutes for them to finally stick out your tongue after you've been yelling at them. And you got to yell at them a lot. And they have to willingly stick out their tongue because it's just not as hot the other way. And so what you do is you get the other mousetrap ready that's armed, and you disarm the other one. So you have, and then you slap them with the disarmed one as you're hitting the real one. So you get that snap sound just at the same time. Just go bam, and they fucking jump. They jump 10 feet every time. Even though they're blindfolded and they trust you, you kind of have to have this, this air of, I can't believe he's really going to do this kind of thing kind of going on. Another one that's similar is, this one you don't have to blindfold them, so you can really fuck with them, is if you're in a hotel room, there's always an iron. right? This is one of my Pink Fork brothers taught me, because he's always in hotel rooms. There's always an iron, so you have room service bring you up another iron, right? So they bring you up another iron. Now you got two, and you turn one on, and you obviously don't turn the other one on, but you stick the other one in ice, right? So you fill up the sink or fill up something, throw some ice in there, throw one of the irons in there, and get the other one fucking scorching hot. So what you do is you tie up the sub, and you tie her up. You don't need a blindfold, because you're going to tell her that, oh, this is the first time we're playing, or, oh, we've only been playing for a little while, or, hey, we've been playing for a long time. But I like it when people are new, because they're like, oh, this is the first time we're playing? Well, one of the things I always love to do when I'm playing with a new person is to brand them. And, yeah, so they're like, what do you mean brand them? I'm like, yeah. Every time I play with somebody, I brand them so that I know that, we had a good time. So you're having a good time, right? They're like, oh, my God, no. They're like, yeah. Well, you said you had a good time earlier, so I'm going to fucking brand you. And you take the iron and you bring it up to their face, and it's scorching hot. And you can just flick. If you get your hand wet, just flick some water right onto it, and it'll just go, it's just fucking burning as hell, right? And what you do is just go back behind them. They can't turn their head very much. They're on all fours. They can't really see. You just do the quick switcheroo, and you fucking grind that ice iron right into their ass, and they will jump. Because the sensation of getting burned right away is the same sensation as the cold, like very similar, right?
Yes.
So, and you don't have to blindfold them. It's great. Just fucking right on the ass, and they'll jump right up. And that's a mind fuck. You totally had them believing that you're going to brand them with this iron, and, all you did was just kind of cool off their ass a bit.
That is evil, Mr. Elwood.
Yeah,
that is
good.
evil, but that is a great example.
Yeah. Same with the cactus. If you go to Walmart sometimes during the summer, you can find these little tiny cactuses that look like a penis with the spikes all over it, and which most cactus look like. Just get the one that looks like a cock. And when you lay your toys out, you put the cactus there with a tiny little vial of lube, and when you tie your play partner up and have them look at the toys and whatnot, just kind of keep it at the end so they only see it out of the corner of their eye. And eventually they're going to ask, what the fuck's up with this cactus? And then you can kind of just take the story from there, Oh, I don't know. What about this cactus? You said you had no limits, so here we go. Shit like that, right? So.
Really fuck with their heads. I actually read a good one about this mistress who owned her husband, and he was one of the hard limits was no tattooing, and she brought she had him down and blindfolded and face down, and she brought her girlfriend over who was a tattooist, and they just scared the holy hell out of him. He thought he was being tattooed, and of course he wasn't. But, because you can actually have the machinery going without any ink, and you can leave a little mark that'll go away eventually. So she was sitting there just tormenting the holy hell out of him for a good hour.
They just do it with water, right?
Yeah, it's nothing. It's water, right? And it'll go away in a little bit. I have convinced somebody, because I'm a sick bitch, I have actually convinced somebody that I was going to unleash a dog on him. So I had him blindfolded, and then I brought this dog to walk around, click, click, click. I mean, you've seen my dog. He's a tiny little old pug, but of course I had made sure that the person didn't see my dog. And so I was like, well, this is how you wanted it really dirty. This is what I do. This is really dirty. And this is, you asked to go this far. So I'm going to let my dog have you. And he
screaming and the yelling that was coming, and then to bring the dog in and hear the dog go click, 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 all, just the screaming and the yelling. And of course, I wouldn't do anything like that, but it's just to fuck with somebody's head, which is always lots and lots and lots of fun. I think psychological play, my absolute one that I've been engaging with at work more so than at anywhere else, is blackmail play.
Oh, blackmail play is hot.
Oh, man, blackmail play is so much fun.
Yeah.
A lot of people come to see me professionally for blackmail play. And it can go from anything. Like, it can go from, I don't want anybody knowing I have a small dick, which then, people have to send me pictures of their small dick. And they, of course, when I do blackmail play, it's really heavily negotiated because these people, it's such a fine line for them. They really want the exposure, but they really don't want the exposure. But they want to be threatened with the exposure. So you have to be prepared to expose them. Yeah. Even though it's going to ruin everything, this is why they're coming to see you. This is why they want to. And I always give my clients a buyout clause so that it can get to that point. Sure, we can stop this all from happening for $800 or whatever the case may be, right? But blackmail play is probably one of my favorites. Right now I have a couple clients that I'm engaging blackmail play with, and one of them is for sleep deprivation. So basically he's got a schedule that he has to keep texting me all night long, and if he fails the schedule, then I post portions of his phone number up on my Twitter account, and he can stop it. He has 12 hours, but it's going to cost him $400.
Oh.
And well, a lot of the blackmail play involves money. Like, I have clients that really want to be financially blackmailed. So, and I don't mind doing that because, I got to stay up all night and make sure this guy stays up all night so that he stays on schedule, and I got to make phone calls to check in on him. So I'm actually working for it. But yeah.
Well, speaking of calling people for blackmail, here we have we're gonna make a phone call here. One sec.
Who are we phoning?
Oh, we're gonna blackmail. We're gonna do some blackmail.
Ooh, I love blackmail. I can't see. I can't see who you're calling.
You make it sound as if you're going to blackmail me, Elwood.
Hey, absolutely. Who are we blackmailing tonight?
You have Runs here.
Hey, how's it going? You're on the air with the Underground Sex Show. Yeah, this is one of our listeners, and it's tough for the Canadians and UK members to call in. So we're gonna reverse call the callers. Bam.
So who are we talking with?
Runs.
Oh.
Runts. Yeah, Runts.
Very wonderful. Well, okay. So what are we going to talk about? What are we going to blackmail them with?
Well, what kind of play do you like there, Runts?
What kind of play do I like?
Yeah, fill us in.
Well, I'm into quite a few things. I do like bondage, flogging, light impact play. I do a bit of fondness for electrotorture.
Bam.
I don't really what else. I could go rhyming things off, but...
Well, tell us, all right, yeah, because tonight we're just touching base on all the different styles of play. So tell us a couple of faves. Do you have, like, a favorite story of what you've been doing?
I remember a minute ago you were talking about mind fucks and mind fucking people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just Friday night. I was strapped to onto the cage wall inside the medical room there in subspace, and I had been being flogged by someone pretty brutally. And the scene was winding down, and the guy was just putting on his socks before finishing untying me.
Mm-hmm.
And he was wearing black socks, like long black socks, and it had been a long black flogger. And he did not try this at all. But when I just looked down and I saw both of his hands reaching down towards the ground and pulling up this long black object, I just shrieked and squirmed and reacted violently, thinking he would just suddenly pull the flogger out again. And he was looking at me odd, like, what's going on?
So you kind of mind fucked yourself.
That's what happened, yeah.
Well, that's what's so beautiful about mindfucks is, like, sometimes it offers, I don't have to really put that much of an effort in. I just have to plant a little tiny seed. And if you are somebody that has a great imagination or overactive or something, you just roll with it, and you end up just torturing yourself on your own with very little input from me. Right?
And that's where sensory depth really comes in. You know, like you put a blindfold on somebody and every sound becomes like its own adventure. You know?
Yes. What was that? What is he doing now?
Oh yeah. Especially during an abduction scene. It's like, where am I going? What are they doing? What are they pulling out? I didn't agree. Did I agree to this? Did I not agree to this? You know?
Yeah.
What's that tapping?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah. How come this guy now has a German accent? I'm being passed over to another guy. What? You know, that kind of shit.
That's what makes it awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah. During an abduction, one great mindfuck / sensory depth is literally if you know somebody with like a totally different accent, right? You stop the vehicle, like you pull over in the middle of nowhere, and you have a pre-pickup like already arranged. It's pretty funny, you know, you pass the person over to somebody else that has this, like, totally different accent, and it totally fucks with them. And they're like, oh my God, did they just, what? Who am I with now? Who, like, you know, and, bam. So, feel free to add that one to your list. What else, Runts? Anything else you enjoy? Any other favorite scenes you care to share with Kink Nation?
Favorite scenes I would like to share with Kink Nation.
Yeah, anything else?
I wouldn't mind sharing my thoughts on Service, seeing as how I missed that show last week.
Well, okay, that's perfect because Service is a type of play, and even though we did chat about it and rock that show last week, we can touch a little bit base on it, so please do share your opinion on it.
Yeah, to me, Service very much is showing someone that you care, that like you want to do things for them, you want to make them feel better. It's how you show someone that you care.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my thoughts are getting scrambled here.
Okay, man.
No, but you're right. It is, and it is a form of play, and it can go from just the surface, but really right down to really meaningful and gestures of affection and kindness and love. You know, it is definitely a type of play, and it's definitely something.
And I think a lot of people misconceive it. I think that I'm familiar with it, that I'm actually really familiar with it.
Yeah, how come you're not over here doing my dishes?
I don't know. You didn't actually ask. You never actually asked, Elwood.
Well, A, I never asked, and B, the rapport hasn't been built. The respect isn't there. Like, you have to do something, and there has to be that reciprocating, you know? Yeah. Reciprocation.
It's just the other thing that I've noted in my experience of dating and trying to date, particularly more within the gay community, is that people, when they hear Service, it seems to be strongly one-sided, that the subservice is more strictly there for use.
Right.
which is really just rather annoying because it's all one-sided.
Yeah, and then that kind of breeds that whole self-entitlement thing that we were talking about earlier in the show, how if somebody identifies as a service and there's that generalization, a service submissive, that everybody can use that service submissive.
Oh, yes, yes.
That's what she or he does, and so,
But that's not the case.
Around.
No, not the case at all.
It's not the case at all.
Oh.
It really, really isn't.
Yeah.
No.
But well, and that's why we're doing this kinds of show, because we want to kind of dispel those myths while having a really good time and listening to Elwood go on and on and on, like he has been for the last hour.
Yes, he's very entertaining, very good to listening.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Runt. And thanks so much for being on the show. You're
welcome. I do have to say, the Elwood cosplay was awesome. I saw that in person.
Wasn't it?
She managed to steal one of my shirts without even me knowing. I was like,
that was actually your shirt.
Yeah, that was actually one of my shirts.
It's not hard, honey. That's not hard to do.
Well, you do have people doing your laundry, right?
When it gets done.
Not
if
always.
Not, you
not
could
always.
easily just go in there and take something, and I'm sure he wouldn't miss it for the world.
Laundry does smell better and feel nicer when somebody else does it. Just putting that out there. Cough, 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 cough. Yeah. So, thanks, Runt. We're gonna keep burning on with the show, and thank you very much for your time there, buddy.
You're welcome.
Thank
Take care.
you.
All right. Take care. So, what's next on our list there, Synn? We got fetish
this is like
play.
the leftovers, fetish play, which is something.
No, they're not leftovers. Are you kidding? Come on.
Well, no, but I mean, it is in the sense that we kind of just put things that we really couldn't define any other way.
Okay.
Under that moniker of fetish play, which we have listed like medical and taboo and nylons and panties and sissies and cock worship and deep throating and latex and cross-dressing and shoes and feet and all that kind of loveliness, that all are forms of play that not always fall under a BDSM sort of situation, but definitely fall under sort of fetish, and that's kind of why we gave them that moniker, right?
All right, absolutely. Fetish play, like fetish, you really have to like it in order to be turned on. And it's just one of those things, like guys that are really into nylons, like that really turns them on. And for others, it's just like, hey, it's nylons.
It is very specific. Like nylons, exactly. Like sissy play,
Sure.
Or even cock worshipping. Like, I know females that just want to cock worship. They don't want to fuck. They don't want to do anything else. They don't want the relationship. They just want to worship cock. And I even know one that identifies as lesbian, but is really into cock worship.
Oh, I can help her out. But
dude,
I'm sure that's what every guy says.
Half the city.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of cock worshipping, we can mix that into the blackmail. There was one friend who their profile was found, and she loves the cock, so then she started blowing her boss, and things like that. And it turned into, but she liked the blackmail thing, and she loved cock worship. So yeah, it was a good mix, And I was just trying to think of like fetishes. Like, am I a fetishist? Like, do I have to have something that turns me on? I was thinking about it. I think every time I get blown with a chick with long hair that has like a headband, I don't know, but I always find that hotter. I'm always like, damn, that's hot.
What, the headband?
Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but headband.
That's kind of fetishy.
I think that's fetishy. I think that falls into the fetishist kind of thing. And,
I agree.
Yeah, other fetishes, age gap, I don't think we mentioned in there. And I love hearing stories of young chicks banging older dudes. It kind of gives me hope for when I get older. I don't know what it is. They're not too young, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, 18 and up.
Yeah, 18 and up. Yeah, you gotta keep it legal. Absolutely.
Keep it legal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people, like when we talk about taboo play, there's a lot of people, and again, this is just play, but like the brother-sister kind of,
sure.
taboo kind of play.
Now, hold on. If I tie two biological sisters together
they're
in
not
a
allowed
suspension,
to do that. It's illegal.
Is that a taboo? I don't think that's a
Yes.
taboo because they're not technically grinding like happy things together, you know?
It is borderline. I'm going to say if you're going to tie two nude sisters together, it is borderline, and just keep me the fuck away because I don't want to be arrested. So
No, that's not taboo because they're not doing anything sexually. We're just being in the suspension. That's it. Bam.
Nothing is just being in a suspension with you, my dear. Ever. Like, ever.
No. We can keep it very Fisher-Price. It'll be fine. You know?
You know what? That kind of makes me want to throw up a little in my mouth.
Does it?
Yeah.
I thought it was
I'm
something...
a sister. I have a sister that I would not want to be suspended naked with my sister. No, thank you. Not at all. Not at all.
I just thought in Kinkville it would be kind of like leveling up. So,
no,
you could be like suspended two biological sisters together naked, check mark. And then you're like, okay, bam, I'm one up.
No. I think that's very specific, and I don't necessarily think that's leveling up at all. But,
all right.
But to each its own, right? Like,
should they hold their IDs up for the suspension photo? Because everyone's like, yeah, we're sisters, but like these are like biological sisters. You know
what? They probably want to. You should just put bags over their heads. That'll probably be better. Especially because I'm pretty sure I know what sisters you're talking about. Anyways, feet is a huge one that we have to talk about before we say goodbye. Huge. Foot play, foot and shoots. Huge.
It's going to be its own episode.
I think it is at some point because it is incredible. I have a lot of people that see me professionally and some that chase me to see me personally to worship my feet. And it is a very specific fetish. They're very particular about it. It's huge. Like a lot of people have that fetish. It kind of coincides with the nylon thing, but feet on its own is a really oiled feet, dirty feet, smelly feet. Did I tell you how I spent a whole week trying to make my feet smell, and it turns out I can't? Yeah, dude, I cannot make my feet smell for the fucking life of me.
Just like rub some cheese over it. You'll be all right.
I did. You don't understand. I put cheese inside the nylons, inside my foot, inside a pair of running shoes, and I sat like that in the sun trying to get my feet to smell.
You didn't walk around enough.
I did everything. It just, some people's feet can smell and some people's can't, and mine can't. But luckily enough, I had mentioned this burden to somebody else, and they're like, I have really stinky running shoes you can buy. And I'm like, I'm going to take those shoes. Because a lot of the clients that come and see me want me to have smelly feet. It is a really, I wasn't sitting around trying to make my feet smell for myself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was a big enough market to actually require buying, like, some smelly feet.
Oh, yeah.
Smelly shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Smelly shoe.
Oh, unbelievable market for it, honey. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, feet, when you talk about fetish, feet is right up next to sissy, is really, really popular. I'm not sure where this falls into. I'm almost about to say it's fetish play, small penis humiliation. is another huge one that I get a lot at work. Just today, I saw the smallest wiener in the world. I swear to you, and before anybody starts screaming down my throat that I'm breaking or violating his privacy, I had already told him I was going to mention it on the show. It literally was the smallest dick I have. It was the size of a chapstick. You know chapstick, right?
Yeah, I think I got one here beside my cock.
Well, I asked him to get an object to put it up so I could get a sense of how big or small it was, how small it was, and the chapstick was about the same size.
Like literally the same size?
Yeah,
really?
Hard. Yeah, baby, hard.
Yeah?
But, yeah, the point is,
Aww.
he got off. No, but don't say aw, because he got off on the humiliation. He loved it. He pays me for it. He loved it so much that he had a great time, because all I did was laugh and make fun of him and told him that I was going to show my girlfriends.
Oh yeah,
but that's huge. Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah.
So I think we should start kind of rounding it up, because we've only got, how many minutes left?
Oh, yeah. Like, we could talk about all sorts of different fetishes and what there is and where there is to explore. My best suggestion for everyone, since this is kind of like a 101 episode, just follow your kink. You know, I think...
Respectfully. I have to
follow your kink respectfully, and the world will open up. I don't know what it is, but if you dig feet, or if you dig nylon, or daddy little girl, or rope, or whatever, you'll find other people into that, and you'll find people that will totally change your life. Totally change your life.
Yeah, as long as you approach it non-douchebaggish. Which is,
don't
as we discussed at the beginning of the show, don't be a douchebag.
Well, and what that means is don't push your fantasy onto somebody else. Like, nobody wants to hear your fucking fantasy right away. They want to hear about you. They want to, make sure that you're cool in the gang, that you're upstanding, that you're not going to end up in their freezer, and then once people open up a bit, then you can kind of be like, oh, well, what are your fantasies? Oh, well, my fantasies are this. What are your fantasies? And then, you can really start sharing and seeing what's going on from there.
Yeah, basically, just because you're walking into an environment that is open to sexuality and all the facets of it doesn't mean that everybody is sexually open. This isn't some giant orgy. That's a whole other scene. This, don't treat it as one either. This isn't all of a sudden a playground where you can kind of try and stick your dick everywhere in everybody's face, or your vagina everywhere in everybody's faces, and, expect instant fun and instant play. It just because people are being sexually open and accepting does not mean they're open for business. So when we say respectfully, that we're talking in that kind of regard.
That's it. We'll talk more about this next week, but I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And
what is next week, baby? What are we doing next week?
We got to end the show. So have a good night, everybody. Next week is MS relationships. Master Slave with Retro and Doll.
And Doll. Yay.
Nice. Good night, everybody.
Awesome. Good night.
You've been listening to the Underground Sex Show, brought to you by LittleMissSyn.com. Tune in next week to start an all-new 2 hours of debauchery, laughter, and mayhem as we further explore the realm of kink. Have a decadent evening, Kinkville, and stay sexy.